Hello everybody and happy Valentine's Day. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about a very controversial topic recently in the whole MMA space. That is who really won Makhachev versus Volkanovski. What's happening there? Who should be pound for pound number one? It's just a whole lot of factors and everything and many debates. It's not even just one debate, it's multiple. And I'm going to get into all of that in this video. What I think, who I think should have won, who I think should be pound for pound king. If you don't know, I don't know who doesn't know, but if you don't, let me just, little background check. This past Saturday, February 11th, Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski fought for the lightweight title, or Volkanovski was challenging Makhachev for his title. This was for pound greatness. This was UFC 284 in Perth. This was a super fight. Champion versus champion, lightweight champ versus featherweight champ, and the person who ended up coming on top in the judge's decision was Islam Makhachev. And the whole debate online after that fight was who really won the fight. A lot of people think Makhachev won the fight, as the judges said. A lot of people thought that Volkanovski should have taken the decision instead. Some people thought it was a complete robbery, and there's that debate. A lot of people were talking about, but pretty much nothing mattered until today, Tuesday. That's what everybody was anxious for because they already got the result for the fight. The only thing people were waiting for was the result of who was now the new pound for pound king, because a lot of people thought Islam should have moved up, but a lot of people think Volkanovski should have stayed. Now today the rankings did come out, and it came out that Volkanovski is still the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. And Makhachev did not move up. Even after Makhachev beating Volkanovski in that fight, he could not move up to pound for pound number one. In fact, the only changes in the pound for pound rankings were John Jones moving up and Prohaska moving down, and Max Holloway entering the pound for pound rankings for like the 10th time, entering, leaving, and re-entering. I don't know why they do this, but it's just like weekly. Every month it happens at least twice. Max Holloway will enter and then leave and then enter again sometimes. I don't get it. But it's crazy how the biggest update to the pound for pound rankings was no update. Was the update of Makhachev not moving up and Volkanovski not moving down. So there's a lot of things being said on each side. There's a big debate on not only who won the fight or who should have won the fight, but also on who should be pound for pound king. And pretty much I want to get into in this video what I think of everything. First of all, who do I think is the pound for pound king? Actually, no. First of all, what do I think of this decision to have Volkanovski number one pound for pound still? I like it. And I like it because I'm a Volkanovski fan. Now listen, to be a fan of one, you don't have to hate the other, like a lot of people online think or act. I'm cool with Makhachev. He's cool. He's all right. I like him. He's funny. He's fairly entertaining. I just like Volkanovski more. I've seen a lot of Volkanovski's title fights. I saw how people really didn't give him enough credit going into this fight. We're just doubting him. And I was rooting for him in the Holloway fight, the third one. I was rooting for him in the TKZ fight. I was rooting for him in the Ortega fight because that was like the first fight I watched of Volkanovski was the Ortega fight. I haven't been around this whole MMA space for very long, so the only one of the bigger guys that I will watch, be more active and see more of was Volkanovski, and I rooted for him most of his career, and I saw his great feats, his great wins, his dominant wins, and I see people just not giving him enough credit for Makhachev. And for me, I know everybody loves an underdog. Everybody wants to root for the underdog. And I don't know, I liked Volkanovski more. I liked the whole underdog thing. I was just rooting for Volkanovski a lot more in this fight. I really wanted him to win this fight. And pretty much a lot of people didn't give him a chance to win this fight. That's really the main thing that all of this comes down to, is the fact that nobody gave him a chance, nobody believed in him, but on that night where Volkanovski lost, his stock rose drastically. I mean, his stock was through the roof after unanimous decision loss. His stock was in the sky, and for good reason, because Volkanovski impressed everybody on that night. Nobody thought he was going to win that fight. He was a plus 300 underdog. Makhachev was a minus 400 favorite. You know, you're talking about the pound for pound number one fighter being a plus 300 underdog. You know, a lot of people just put all that trust in Makhachev. They thought he was going to dismantle him. He was going to destroy him. It was going to be easy. That was my prediction that I put into my predictions video from a few days ago. But that is far from what happened. There was no domination. There was not even a clear winner, apparently. It was Volkanovski proving to all of us that he is great. He dared to be great by moving up, because Makhachev challenged him to move to his weight class and fight him so that Makhachev could get number one pound for pound. Everything was in the favor of Makhachev. The odds, the fans, the analysts, the fight itself, the position, the height, the size, the training, the experience, everything. It should have been a clear, decisive, short win for Makhachev, right? But that's not at all what happened. Volkanovski dared to be great, took the challenge, and showed everybody why he is number one pound for pound. Granted, he lost that fight, and that's where this other debate comes from of who should be number one pound for pound. If you were to ask me who do I think the number one pound for pound should be, not who I want it to be. I wanted it to be Volkanovski. I'm glad that it's still Volkanovski. Who do I think it should be? Honestly, I think it should be the winner of the rematch. But the thing is, the rematch won't be happening for a long, long time. And that's due to many things. I'll talk about it in another video. Interim titles, lightweight contenders, just title defenses. It all has to do with titles. I think I'll make a video tomorrow talking about that, because there is a lot of factors that factor into it. But who do I think should be number one pound for pound? Here's the thing. Makhachev did win the fight. I think, let's backtrack. I don't think Leon Edwards should be above Kamaru Usman. I think Kamaru Usman should be above Leon Edwards. I don't think Leon Edwards should be number 3. Why? Why is he number 3? If Kamaru Usman was dominating him throughout that whole fight, Leon Edwards lands one kick and now he's number 3. I don't really understand that. You know, the resumes is different, the records, the everything doesn't make too much sense. Usman has so many rounds over Leon Edwards in their 2 fights that I don't know how he can be below him, right? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, Leon Edwards, one kick shot him way above top guys such as Usman, Adesanya, Pereira, Sterling, John Jones, Robert Whittaker, Charles Oliveira. It's just, I don't really know what to say about it. Like, you're gonna have Leon, who won 1 or 2 rounds in that Usman fight, if we're counting the knockout, 1 or 2 rounds, right? Across the 8 rounds that he fought against Usman, you're gonna put him up to number 3 pound for pound. But when it's a close fight, number 2 versus number 1, when number 2 has a close fight with number 1, but still wins it, like, Makhachev won more rounds in this one fight than Leon Edwards won rounds in his 2 fights against Usman. So how are you going to put Leon Edwards up to number 3? Way too high, in my opinion, but not put Makhachev up to number 1. I feel like it's just inconsistency with the rankings. How are you going to put one up but not the other? You know, that one doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because I don't know, just so many things. I already explained some of it, but I'm happy with Volkanovski still being number 1. It's just weird to explain. Like, if you were to explain to a guy on the street, right, the number 2 pound for pound guy just beat the number 1 pound for pound guy in a fight. He asks you, oh, so who's number 1 now? Is it number 2? You tell him, nope, the guy who lost is still number one. Obviously, you're missing a lot. You're missing a lot of context. You're missing the fight. You're missing what happened. But a win is a win. If a win is a win for Leon Edwards, why is a win not a win for Islam Makhachev? You have to have some kind of consistency. It can't be just one or the other. Because look, Makhachev did better in this Volkanovski fight than Leon Edwards did across both the Usman fights. So, I already explained this. I already said this like 3 times over. It's just, you can't have that inconsistency is what I'm saying. That's what I think about the pound for pound rankings. Who do I think won the fight? Look, I really like Volkanovski. I already talked about this. But how I scored the fight, I scored it 48-47 for Makhachev. I had Makhachev winning rounds 1, 2, and 4. I had Volkanovski winning rounds 3 and very evidently, very clearly, round 5. If we look at the full fight, doesn't really look like that, We got Volkanovski dominating in total strikes. He got a lot more significant strikes as well. And the takedowns, people accepted Makhachev to just dominate Volkanovski on the ground, but he couldn't even land more than half of the takedowns. He couldn't even land half or more than half. So looking at the total, right, looks like Volkanovski should have won this fight. But if we look at round by round, it starts to be a bit different, unless you're looking at the latter two. If we're looking at the first 3, first round was close. I had it for Makhachev, though. I feel like he just did more. Round 2, people say it was closer. I still had it for Makhachev. A lot of people still had it for Makhachev. Round 3 was also fairly close, but Volkanovski had the better moments. He looked better on the feet, and on the ground, he was able to stuff a lot of the takedowns that Makhachev had. Round 4, controversial round 4. A lot of people disagree on this round. They look at the total strikes and what Volkanovski did in that round for the striking. He landed a lot of shots, but he landed a lot of the shots while Makhachev took his back. So they were not considered significant strikes. They were considered just total strikes, because a strike is a strike. If it lands, it's a strike. But they were not strong strikes, if that makes sense. Makhachev just had a lot of control time in that round. He had a lot of control time. And if we're looking at significant strikes and damage in that round, the significant strikes is only 2 strikes off for significance. So if you're looking at the control time and you're looking at, everything there, I gave the round to Makhachev. A lot of people talk about, damage and Makhachev not doing anything while having Volkanovski's back, while being in that control. And while you're sort of right, I don't see how having your back taken wins you the round. You may have landed more strikes, but it's from your back. Again, that's not significant strikes. It was a really weird round, but I don't really see how you could, like, watching it, you didn't really see 50 total strikes. I didn't count 50. I don't know where they got 50 from. 50 is a lot, but watching it live, it didn't seem like 50. Volkanovski, he looked like a badass. He looked really cool off his back. He was yelling, and if you want to look up what he said, he actually released it to the public, what he was saying to Islam. I mean, he was the cooler guy in that exchange for sure, because Makhachev was just surviving. That's true. But, just surviving could still win you a round. That's kind of how it works. It's weird, Doesn't make too much sense, but that's just how it is. There was no questions for round 5, at least. Round 5 was all Volkanovski. That should not have gone to anybody else but Volkanovski. Volkanovski dominated in this round. He made Islam Makhachev look like a human. A lot of people have that, have that belief that everybody Dagestani, aka, they're all invincible. They're all unbeatable. You can bet the house on them and trust that you'll get some profit back. But that whole belief, that stigma, that's definitely going to change. It definitely did already change after this fight, because the Dagestanis are not unkillable now. They're very much beatable. Not very beatable. They're still some of the best guys in the sport, but they can be beaten. They can be beaten by guys who started training at 22. They can be beaten by guys who played rugby more than they played more than they fought in MMA. Or is it more? I don't think he played it more, did he? Not professionally, at least. No, okay, so scratch that. Scratch that. But what I'm saying is, like, the Dagestani guys, they're beatable now, and people see that. People are seeing that a lot more. And that's what's so crazy about this fight. That's what Volkanovski did. That's what's so special about this. This is the guy that nobody gave him a chance to win, right? People thought Islam was going to just kill him. But Volkanovski proved that not only is he one of the greatest fighters to ever walk the planet, he's one of the greatest fighters to be breathing right now. He proved that, like, you could start from any age. He started training at 22. He proved that, you know, no matter the odds, no matter what nobody tells you, no matter what people think online or the chances people give you, it all matters, like, what belief you have in yourself. And that's what Volkanovski showed in this fight. Because no one gave him a chance. He gave himself a chance. He gave himself a chance to win this fight. And now a lot of people think he actually did. I think it was close. I think it was 48-47. I think that's how close it was. It's close enough to the point where a lot of people are debating, did Makhachev actually win this fight? Does he actually deserve pound for pound number one? And after going over everything I've said, going over everything that's happened since this fight, leading up to this fight, is it fair to say that Volkanovski still deserves this number one pound for pound spot? And another question is, when can we expect the rematch?